Hello, I am Everhard, and I have with me Deathsadvocate. Hello there.
Hello.
So, yeah, you've been doing some decks, a lot of decks throughout this past year or two here, like dozens or
Oh,
maybe
well,
maybe even hundreds of decks, right? It's kind of a passion of yours.
something like that. Yeah.
All
And
right.
you've been always supplying inspiration, and now you're helping me out with this. So should be a
Thank
fun
you.
time.
And you always help me out with my decks. And so, yeah, you've got this new deck you've been working on with a new card, Azure, for Flying Vet.
Yeah, it's. I was skeptical of it at first, and I tried a few dozen different variations, and it went through a lot of renditions. But I finally narrowed it down into a particular variety that came out really well. And I've had several people ask for some gameplay videos of it, so I figured I may as well get around to that.
Right, right. Well, I'm curious. I don't have the card myself. I mean, like, we've seen the pictures of, like, thousands of Sky Wings and all that. And, yeah, I do want to see. And we have a couple of games here against Yukairn, but first we're gonna watch the one against Topdeckguru, right? Right there
Yeah,
we are.
he's a good Songhai player, and I like testing against Songhai because their out of hand damage is always a good test if your deck is prepared for the meta. Just
And yeah, and I guess some guy is always like Vet's worst matchup. I mean,
exactly,
unless you're like just hugging the wall,
yeah, which is why I recently made the change and dropped 5 drops out of the deck just because Rasha's Curse helps a lot in the early game, especially versus Artifact Songhai and the
Right,
like.
right, definitely. Okay, so are you ready? I'm gonna like count. You got the game on?
Yep, I'm ready to go.
Okay, I'm gonna count to 3, and we're gonna launch it. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay.
And are you playing on 2 times speed too?
No, I think that's a bad idea. I think you wanna maybe explain what's going on. No.
All right, I am also at real time then.
Cool.
So right away, I am replacing high cost cards and things that I don't think I'll need immediately, trying to dig for the Azure combo. The
Right.
Azure combo is a Skywing and an Azure and any other flying minion. That's the ideal set.
Okay.
So I kept the 2 golems there because they will help thin the deck out more and draw me more cards, and card advantage is always good, especially when the goal is to try and get that flying combo off early.
Right.
Well, there we go. I've got a good portion of it. I've got the Azure and the Dragonlark, which is enough to try, but it's best to do it with a Skywing because it takes 6 mana, including globes, to get all 3 Skywings out, and the Dragonlark. Sometimes I will just go for less and just not try to get them all out. Like, if I know the globes are going to disappear and I have half of it in hand, I'll just go for it. But instead, at the moment, I'm holding off, trying to dig for more parts of the combo and just developing an annoying, sticky field with 2 buffed up golems.
Definitely.
I did end up burning a card, but I wasn't too worried about it.
Oh,
I'd rather...
you burn card with Dream Shaper. There's no
Yeah,
no escaping
it
that.
happens in the early game. And now I've got the combo in hand, but I don't have 6 mana on board, and I really, really don't like the thought of her stealing a Blood of Air or something like that from me. So I'm just dumping out my hand and killing that thing,
Right.
because next turn, if I can keep that globe, then that'll be 6 mana. So with those 3 cards in hand, I'm guaranteed to be able to puke out the entire combo.
Wow.
And notice I positioned myself to deny her the globe.
I did.
So right away, I'm getting into it. I'm just spamming it all. Notice I did not replace before I started it. I waited on that because what I wanted to do is at the very end, you draw until you run out of things, and you draw your Grandmaster, and then you replace your Grandmaster right before you play the last flying minion. That way you get an extra draw out of the card. And I also am sort of playing them over there so that they're out of reach of that Lantern Fox. She can walk up and punch the Skywing, but not kill it. And I'm just trying to keep as many of them alive as possible and just playing them against that wall over there. She's smart. She's immediately taking some priority to kill the Skywings just because they're a threat on their own, and she doesn't know if I have a Grandmaster in hand or not. I do. And if all of my Skywings survive, I'll usually hold on to the Grandmaster, but when they don't, I'll usually get rid of him because he's too slow at that point.
Okay.
And at this point, you know, I've just got a sort of stacked hand here. Anything he puts down, I'm just going to blood up air, or I can EMP, and I'm just going to go face because I don't want to risk my guys dying to a Ghost Lightning. So better to get value out of them now. So I'm going to send 2 at her face. I'm going to buff that one up so it lives and kill that Heartseeker. At this point, Topdeckguru is seeing my very well-developed field and my stacked-up hand, and it's just far behind, and he probably realized that he's just not going to recover from this. And another thing is, I pretty much never go face with my general against Songhai because health is a very valuable resource versus them.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
That's smart.
The only exception to that is if I'm playing, you know, aggro Cassiva, where I know I can out-heal and out-damage Songhai. But that was that first game. He gave up a little quick there, but he knew he was pretty far behind. Just when you go off and puke out that combo like that, it is hard to recover if you don't have a Ghost Lightning or a Tempest in hand when it's done early.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely impressive. But I gotta tell you, I personally still don't really can understand the mechanics of Azure and like how the combo exactly works. But like basically every Skywing you puke out, you get the discount for the next minion, which allows you to puke them all out in one turn. Right.
It takes 6 mana to play 3 Skywings.
Right.
And then Dragon Larks are 1 mana flying minions, so if you have a Skywing out, they can be used to just pick up globes so you can play the next Skywing. And I only play those 7 flying minions, because if you put any more in, then you're not drawing Skywings and you're not drawing Dragon Larks, meaning you'll end up getting half of your field out some of the time, and half of the times you will explode and get a bigger field than I have, but you don't need a bigger field. That's just overkill. If you have 3 Skywings, 3 Dragon Larks, and a Grandmaster in hand, you're going to win unless they have AoE. And if they have AoE, it wouldn't matter if your field was bigger.
Right.
And at that point, the deck has just been thinned down so much. It's so easy to find your removal and, you know, that single copy of EMP, and the deck still has more draw power, and you can just end up drawing into a Sirocco, which, if they did wipe your flying minions, well, alright, I'll now deal with another swarm. And it's really hard to deal with.
Right, and you've been doing really well with it. You said you've been having consistency with your wins in S rank.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Are you ready to start the game with Yukairn? That was another pretty good match.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna look for it. Hold on. Oops.
I've tried a couple other variations that are similarly powerful. Like, instead of running Rashas, I'll run some more mid-range things like Aymara or Sand Swirl, just because it's a powerful tempo gaining card, and that would work better in a slower control based meta. But with all the aggro running around and with Songhai being somewhat problematic and aggro
You
cast
want to
being
outpace everyone.
You want to be able to survive the early game, and Rasha's gives you that bump, and the deck's so good at closing games out with its flying combo, or its Sirocco combo, or dropping a Grandmaster and going face. I didn't need the mid-range stuff.
Gotcha. Alright, cool. So I'm ready to do Yukairn, and we'll just count to 3 again, and so we can sync up. And let's start it. 3, 2, 1, replay.
Alright. So right away, well, I usually like to hang on to Mirage versus Abyss.
Hold on. Now you can start, I think, yeah, go ahead.
Alright. Well, I usually like to hold on to Mirage versus Abyss because it's really brutal when played on a Revenant. Turn 1's a little bit early for it.
A little bit.
And I've noticed players are getting a lot smarter about Mirage and their tiers. They're not playing a Revenant unless they can move it forward 2 spaces and move back 2 spaces. Because it's very hard to play around, but it can be done. So I didn't keep it turn 1, especially when I saw I had 2 Azure and that Dragon Lord, because that means I'm theoretically ready to go with that combo. But without a Skywing in hand there, I'm opting to just build some card advantage and develop some golems here and hold off on the combo until I have 6 mana or a Skywing. I also just ended up playing a single Azure summoning just so I could get a draw. I only need 1 for the combo. Right. So I just dumped it out of my hand so I didn't burn a card.
Alright.
Oh, and I made the Ooze attack the least important of my 3 golems, just cause.
Yep.
So here, I like Oasis with 3 things on board. That always feels like a lot of value. So I just went for that. It's a sticky, obnoxious field.
Iron Shroud Oasis at Mana Core 4. It's a classic.
Exactly. I wouldn't usually do it, if I just had...
No, to add into your forces, yeah.
But, yeah, it's nice. And, yeah, I burned a card because this deck is so good at maintaining card advantage.
Right.
Oh, well. So, now he's... Grasp of Agony I've been seeing a lot more lately. It's a solid card. But it's sort of meta-dependent on whether it's really good or not. It's usually a good 2 of.
I hate it so much.
It's so easy to play around. It'll work on somebody once, and then they'll sort of have it in their mind the rest of the game.
Right.
So right now, I'm just like, drop an early Sirocco. It'll be a problem. Got some really good spawns with it. At this point, I'm looking on just trying to get aggressive. I know Abyss has some strong late game. And I've got my hands stacked with removal, and then I drew into that Skywing. And now I'm ready to go with combo. 6 mana's coming up.
Right.
I've got my 3 flyers here, so it's going to get messy real quick. So he is just doing his best to clear my field, which I am then going to immediately refill, and that's what makes the deck so scary. Like, you can only deal with a full field like that so many times.
Right.
But 6 mana, combo in hand. Again, I don't replace before the combo, because I want to replace that Grandmaster right before my very last flyer. And at this point, I'm just backing off because I know Kasaba can switch into aggro mode and do a lot of damage and healing really quick, so I just want to keep myself out of range and keep my flyers safe against this back wall.
Right.
So she's in a bit of trouble right now. I think I ended up actually burning my Grandmaster this game, and that's why he didn't show up, but that's okay. He's great to have when you need him. He's helped me close out a lot of games, especially because the deck's really good at finding him when I need him, or occasionally, you know, when all 3 Skywings stay alive, then he just comes down and it is over as that flying wave comes in. But again...
Nash takes me back a while back, you know.
I very rarely run the card at all, and even in this deck, I very rarely use it, but he's pretty nice to have when the situation calls for it. And so at this point, I'm just ramming in for face because I don't want to risk AoE happening. I don't have a buff in hand. Oh, right, he dispelled a couple of those. So
yeah, Lightbender and your flyers are now walkers.
It was a good play on his part, especially since now I'm all grouped up for another Grasp of Agony, but, you know, he's so low on health, I just don't even care. I'd rather move and advance towards him. Like, at this point, I'm definitely saving that Mirage, because it's just guaranteed game if a Revenant comes out, and I'm just pinging him down, and there's just nothing he can do about it.
Yeah.
It's a very rude deck. Like, and even if they manage to clear your field 2 or 3 turns, well, that's what they've spent their time doing, and then you can switch into EMP, Grandmaster, or just Blood of Air, Rasha till they're dead.
This, honestly, this is kind of charming. This is like other shit, you know? Different. It's very nice. I like it.
Oh, yes. Don't underestimate Desolator. Such a powerful card. So much healing.
Yeah.
Get rid of him.
I Blood of Air Desolator all the time. All the time.
All the time. And at this point, you know, it was just something for me to do.
Yeah, and to hit his face some more.
Yeah, just his time is limited.
Right.
Because now he's about to hit that 9-mana turn. It's something I love to do with Desolator, is just throw him out, ping him with Cassava, throw him out a second time.
Right.
Very annoying. That's something else I'll often do with Cassava, is I will throw him out and then ping him anyways, just because I don't want him to get Dispelled or Blood of Air. But yeah, it's game over.
Yeah,
you put a Revenant on the field. I have Mirage in hand, and it's over. It's been over.
Yeah. Superior Mirage indeed. Superior indeed.
It's a very, very annoying card.
Yeah.
It is becoming less effective now that people are a tad more aware of it, but it is still sort of a counter to Abyss's, or to Vetruvian's classic difficult matchups.
Yeah, with Magmar, of course, but it's kind of like, you said it right, but it's kind of like the chicken and the egg now. You don't know if you want to replace it because it's played around, or you don't want to, if you don't know if you want to keep it, and then your opponent will say, well, he probably replaced it, so I will use, you know, it's like chicken and the egg kind of thing. Yeah.
Past the first couple turns, if you're against Magmar or Abyssian, you usually just hold on to it.
Yeah, hold on tight, for any case.
But so that was Airship. That's what I call the deck. I usually explain the names of my decks, but I didn't in this thread because it was a little bit of a weird name. And in this case, Airship, just because golems are something you build, flying, airship.
Right.
It was a little silly. I was too embarrassed to explain it. I just didn't.
Okay, yeah, no, that's cool though, and it's a cool name. It's a very snappy, you know, Airship. That's cool. And yeah, this deck looks really, really nice, and I like the two, the golems, the Sirocco, and you got the mass of flying. That's really good. So yeah. Is it as hard to pilot as it seems, though?
Once you understand how the combo works, like just once you get like, all right, you know you need 6 mana, or you know how to play risk versus reward if you're at 5 mana, and you're gonna try to throw out a couple. There's quite a few tricks to it. There's a lot of positioning and trying to keep your flyers safe and spreading them out, and knowing when to replace and what to play. But even poorly piloted, it can really overwhelm your opponent.
Right, yeah, it does seem like it. All right, so we'll wrap this up. It was very, very nice. I hope our viewers enjoyed it. You, of course, post the deck list, right? And maybe a few words about it.
On Reddit and the forums.
Cool. And great having you, and thanks for having me.
Nice working with you as usual.
Catch you later.
Talk to you later.